Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from the Hub here today with our friend Fran, our nutritionist from WellSpan. Remember, it's National Nutrition Month. So last week we talked to Steph, one of our other nutritionist friends from WellSpan, and this week we're talking to Fran. How are you there, my friend?
Great, Kelly. How are you?
I am doing very well. So last week, Steph talked to us about personalizing our plate, which by now you guys should all be experts at. And this week, Fran is going to talk to us about how to make breakfast and snacks a little better, and also eating out a little more healthier. So now that we have the opportunity to eat out a little more frequently and a little safer because of vaccines and having restaurants open, now we need to do it a little more healthier. And I think that, okay, I haven't eaten out yet in over a year, and I gotta tell you, I'm jonesing it super bad. So I am concerned that when I go there, I'm going to eat all the things I'm not supposed to. So I know let's pause on that one and let's start with the beginning of our day and breakfast. So I have to tell you, breakfast is also my weakness because when I eat breakfast, I know I'm supposed to have the good stuff, but I want all the things that include bacon. So what should I do to make it better?
So first of all, let's just talk about, there's so many good benefits about eating breakfast and starting your day with breakfast. First of all, it can kick up your metabolism, so it revs up the engine for the day, certainly starts fueling the body for the day. So oftentimes we may run shorter at another part of the day, so at least we're getting something, sometimes more nutrients there in the beginning. And certainly from a blood sugar standpoint, it's going to help to keep things kind of stable and steady. So you're not going to be searching for, or grabbing for, some of those quick type of maybe more processed types of snacks throughout the day or more unhealthy grazing. And also it certainly can help us from a productivity standpoint. So, we're more alert. It helps to also improve our memory performance as well as attention, and also can help with, preventing overeating. So certainly from, taking in too many more calories throughout the day. If we skip that meal, then sometimes we end up overeating at another time of the day and consuming a lot more at the other end. So we really want to try to start with the breakfast, snacks in between and lunch, and maybe go a little bit lighter sometimes with that evening meal.
So should I be having, what should I be eating? Because I've never been a cereal girl. It just never really worked out for me.
Okay.
So do I have to have like oatmeal? Like what should I eat?
Nope, not necessarily. So, we talk a lot about the My Plate and those food groups, whether it's the grains or it's protein or dairy or fruit and vegetables. And so our goal, at least at breakfast, I always try to encourage at least a couple servings, from the My Plate, to try to encourage at least some balance to start out your day. So good tips might be to definitely include some type of protein, lean protein. And Kelly, I know you said you love bacon, but maybe having a breakfast sandwich that is either on like a whole grain English muffin or in a wrap, maybe with Canadian bacon, which is a little bit lower in fat, still has the sodium content, but a little lower than, say, if I'm going to eat the strip bacon or a sausage or a scrapple, for example. So you could still have something that's a little bit healthier of a breakfast sandwich. So you've got your protein, which is also going to keep, your hunger at bay. It's going to help to keep your blood sugars more stable. You get some high fiber grains in there. If you decide you want to have a dairy, low fat dairy, or, and or fruit. And in that sandwich, you can always think about vegetables, so oftentimes just something like that. Some people like avocado toast, where they'll do like a whole grain bread with some avocados. I've even seen recipes using, like, they'll put the scrambled egg or the over easy egg on top of that, and that's breakfast. Obviously, that's not a take along type of breakfast. Could be the breakfast smoothies or a protein shake or an energy bar, like a protein bar, like Nature Valley has some good tasting protein bars, maybe with a piece of fruit. or a low-fat Greek yogurt or something along those lines. So at least you're getting some sustenance. And also, just trying to think about a window of maybe, within 2 hours of when you're up, to try to have something. So some people like to prep before, the night before. So they'll do like the refrigerator overnight oats. And that's certainly okay. They might, pack maybe some leftovers from the dinner the night before. So again, dinner or breakfast, I'm sorry, doesn't always have to be breakfast type foods, but could be leftovers from the night before. Even you could have a piece of pizza, but don't have 2 pieces of pizza, and have some fruit with that in the morning.
That's funny. That's really cool. There's a thing that's been sort of going around on TikTok, the new cereal with like fruit and ice and coconut water.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's like berries and coconut water. I guess Lizzo's been talking about it. It's fruit. So it's like fruit it's just fruit. So I was like, I thought it was cereal, but it isn't, it's just fruit. So I was like, oh, well, that looks delicious. So I was pretty excited about that. So, all right. Okay. So those things sound good. I can do those things. And none of those things are like that's not far out of people's wheelhouse. So those things are good. Okay. All right, good. So, all right, snacks. I think when people want a snack, they want chips, man. They want cookies. And you're going to say, nope. You want me to have cottage cheese and carrot sticks.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, nothing's wrong with that. And you know what? I do like cottage cheese and carrot sticks. I do. But sometimes I want chips and cookies.
Yeah. So think about, the 80-20 rule. So, 80% of the time we're trying to, do our best to eat healthy, to make healthy choices throughout the day, meals and snacks included. When we go out to eat, all of those items can kind of, encompass that 80-20 rule. And then there's that 20% of the time, maybe there's a couple times out of the week that, I just really want something different. Instead of maybe regular potato chips, like Sun Chips, at least might be a little bit of a better option. And they do have some fiber in them. And again, just controlling the portion. Kind of also goes back to if you're going to eat that snack mid-morning, but you didn't have breakfast, there again, you might be having more of a tendency to eat more of those types of choices.
Yeah.
If you occasionally want a cookie, can it be 1 cookie or 2, not the whole container, or
Right.
5 or 6?
So for those of you who have been listening thoughtfully, remember, Steph talked about the 80-20 rule too. So yeah, they're on the same page. So it's not like you're going to get one nutritionist who's going to be like, yeah, eat whatever you want, man. They're nutritionists. They're going to tell you the same thing. Right. I think that, and you know what? I think all of us who are not perfect eaters, because, nobody is, but those of us who are, we all need a little help in that area. We all want you to tell us we can do whatever we want. And and we secretly want you to do that, even though we also secretly want you to tell us, come on now, you're supposed to do the right thing. And I think what the real thing comes down to, you got to be thoughtful. And I think that's what the hardest thing is that we all want to be like 8-year-olds. We all just want to eat thoughtlessly and eat an entire bag of whatever or box of whatever, and then not feel like there's consequences. And then when we go to the doctor or the nutritionist or whoever, we just hang our heads like 8-year-olds and go, I'm sorry, I ate the whole box. I know. And that's what we do. Because I think on the inside, we're all just 8-year-olds.
we talk a lot about mindfulness, where you
Yeah.
were saying more thoughtlessness,
Yeah.
but that mindful eating and having a healthy relationship with food
Yeah.
is one of the focuses that I try to emphasize oftentimes with people that I meet, because we don't want to have that good food, bad food. There's nothing wrong with eating potato chips or
Right.
cookies. Would be, how often do I do that? Where in the course of my day do I do that? And they're empty calorie foods that really don't provide the nutrients that we require every day to keep our bodies moving. So, finding a way to, I would say, get rid of the guilt, have some, but maybe plan it out rather than the haphazardness that we do oftentimes with, we don't eat enough at a mealtime, or we skip the meal and then we end up, a train wreck throughout the day.
Right. And
So
you
that
might
would be
feel good for
something
the
to think
moment,
about. Mhm.
salty, sweet, whatever your
Mhm.
vice is, you feel good for that moment, but you don't, right. And then you're like, you have that spike, or you have that love, or whatever that feeling is that you feel. And then you have that crash, and then you're like, oh man.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. And so you have to have that healthy relationship where you go, right,
exactly.
10
Mhm.
chips or whatever your healthy relationship is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing too is to keep in mind, when you have a snack, it's not supposed to be like a main meal. So thinking in
Right.
terms of like a snack guide might help people sometimes to think about, when I'm going to select something, number one, I want to think about how many calories that I'm going to spend on that snack.
Yeah.
So I would recommend, keeping it like, 200 or less. When you can, maybe it has at least a protein choice with it, or in that snack itself, it might have enough protein to at least kind of give you a little bit of an addition to that day. So think of no more than 200 calories per serving. So if you're reading a food label, you've got that bold print now on the new food labels, that can certainly help you to decide, wow, I didn't realize that was like 320 calories
Yeah.
versus, or I might eat less of that particular portion. Fiber, so when I'm thinking about a snack, I want to have fiber. I could certainly eat, whole fruits and vegetables and whole grains, but if I am eating something that's a packaged item, I would still like to have maybe 3 grams of fiber. More is always great too, but at least 3. So looking for, those types of choices. So whether it's the nuts or popcorn or whatever. And also, get some protein in there. So maybe it has about 5 grams of protein, or you're adding something else to that snack, like having, say, a Greek light yogurt with, some whole grain Triscuit crackers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you're combining, something like that, which will help also to satisfy that hunger.
I'm thinking about like what those choices are. And I think that 200 calorie goal, that sort of range makes that much easier, because, lots of times you're sort of shooting at the moon. You don't really, you're like, well, what will satisfy me, rather than this is what my goal needs to be. Okay. That will help. Well, that certainly helps me a lot more, because now I can be a lot more thoughtful about that.
Mhm.
Like celery and peanut butter could work.
It could.
Yeah, because I've got fiber and I've got protein.
And you have some veggies in there, yes.
Yeah,
So if you have,
and I could put some like flax seeds on there for like
for
for
some extra
some
fiber and
yeah, for
nutrition,
some
yeah,
fiber.
that's a great
Okay.
idea. Usually 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, based on the label, or any other nut butter for that matter, is about 190 or 200 calories. And that would be a level tablespoon. So 2 level tablespoons.
Right,
So
I'm
even if
like,
you had, you
wow,
know,
a big old tablespoon. Yeah, I like sort of an approximate tablespoon. Okay, all right, I will make a
not heaping
whole.
tablespoons.
Right, right. All right, okay, all right, that's cool. That makes sense to me. All right, let's do eating out, because we
Okay.
we opened with that one, and I gotta say, I know I'm not the only one. So for those of us who have not eaten out in a long time, Ooh, it's so tempting, man. I've been cooking. I mean, I've had pretty limited takeout as well.
Mhm.
So, oh man. Okay. It is going to be hard not to go hog wild.
Mhm.
So, how give me some tips.
Okay, so if we want to go out to eat or we want to do takeout, either or, first of all, we can still stick to some healthy eating plan by number one, planning. So plan it as part of your week or plan it as part of that particular day. Like today, I'm going to do takeout. So think about what it is that you're in the mood for. Oftentimes, we go out and we just look at a menu and say, yeah, it sounds really good. But we don't think a lot about how much we're going to be eating of that particular item or that meal, like a fast food meal or takeout meal, for example. So planning ahead, what am I in the mood for? What type of restaurant will kind of satisfy that, choice for that particular time. Thinking about maybe looking up some nutrition information ahead of time. A lot of the restaurants today have that information available online. Some people who are tracking, their intake on a daily basis have those tracking tools on their apps, so they can kind of compare. I always try to recommend, number one, if I'm going to eat out, obviously I want to try to balance some healthy items, maybe with one of those higher fat choices, because maybe I haven't eaten it in a while. So I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to have that. So one would be to compare, maybe have one higher fat choice, if that's once in a while that you're doing that, and
Like
try to pair it
cheesecake.
with maybe 3 low fat choices along with that. I'm sorry, what?
Like cheesecake.
Yeah, so you could have cheesecake. You could share that if you're eating out with someone else.
Yeah.
So you're getting half the calories that you would normally get from something
Yeah.
like that and still satisfying that, just in the mood for, a dessert today.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually, eating 500 or 600 calories of that.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. So that you, when you're looking at the menu and you say, well, if I get dessert, we could share, or, and then I'll get a different kind of a meal, or I could get a meal that I want and then not get dessert, or you can figure out how to make it work, or take dessert home and know that I could have like half tonight and half tomorrow.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. Or
That's
you
a
could
great
like
idea.
share an appetizer. There's lots of ways to make that work. There's not just one example of how you do that. Okay,
Exactly.
all
Yeah.
right.
And if you were going out, like say, could be like a lunch or a dinner, or
Yeah.
let's say lunch, and you're going to get a sandwich of some sort. Well, what kind of a sandwich? Is it a sub that's a 12-inch sub, or could I go with, or eat half of it and take the other half home? So oftentimes we'll try to encourage people to get the box up front when you order your items. So that way, when your meal comes, you're already kind of geared up to divide and conquer. That's what I always say. So
Oh,
you
okay.
take half of it home and you'll have it for maybe 2 other meals. Oftentimes with sandwiches, what comes with them, either fries or chips. So if I want to have something else, that's not quite as high in calories and really, tipping over the bank there from the calorie standpoint, maybe I'll opt not to have that. Can I have a side of a vegetable, or can I have a side of salad? How about a soup, like a cup of soup that's like a broth-based soup? It's a great way to start a meal to help you to start feeling fuller. And oftentimes you may not necessarily want that dessert at the end. Again, you might take it home, which is another, good way to kind of think about that. So those kinds of things. If you're eating out for dinner, what often comes to the table after the drinks is the bread basket.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
those really nice warm loaves of bread. And if you're really a great customer table, the waitress or waiter might bring you more of that bread. I
Yeah.
don't know how much that bread weighs in ounces, but we usually say like a slice of bread is about 80 calories per ounce. So how much does that loaf of bread? So just by cutting out those calories, allows you to maybe splurge a little bit with something else with the meal.
Yeah, but this might be my the first time I go out might be my 20.
Okay.
And I might have to ignore you once. And
That's
then I
fine.
will listen to you every time. Because it's been hard, man. Really hard. I might have to just do one time. And then I'm back on. I'll be 80 for a lot.
Nobody's asking for perfection from any of
Right.
us.
Right.
Yeah, and that's one of the things to keep in mind.
Right. And I think that, yeah, I think that, yeah. Right. And, I might have to be 20 for a little bit. And then I have to get myself back together, because you can't be 20 100% of the time, because then we're going to have a problem with Fran. Fran's going to find us, everybody. She's going to find us, and then she's going to bring the doctors to find us, and then we're going to have to go. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. That's why it's called 80-20.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And you have to find that balance. And that's the thing, right? We can't be 8-year-olds the rest of our lives. That's when you have heart disease and, no, you cannot. You have to find your balance. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where even the theme of the National Nutrition Month with Personalize Your Plate is really thinking a little bit more about all of those choices and trying to encourage healthier options, obviously, but then we also want to incorporate some of our favorite foods too, whether it's eating at home or takeout.
Right.
And in a restaurant.
There's fantastic restaurants. And, as much as we have not eaten out over the past year, there are fantastic restaurants that make glorious vegetable dishes. It's not like you have to go out and eat every single thing that involves a carb. I mean, I haven't had Thai in a year as well. And I can, I'm having a little moment. We may go have Thai this weekend.
Your 20 rule of thumb might be today, Kelly.
I know. Ooh. And when I eat Thai, it's 2/3 vegetables. And that just makes me super smile. And when I eat Indian, and I haven't had Indian out in more than a year, and boy, howdy, that makes me smile as well. So that could just be a glorious thing. And even when you haven't eaten out, it could be a super opportunity for you to explore a lot of interesting world cuisines that you've never tried. That could be a wonderful opportunity to try something totally unique. So go out there and explore. And maybe when you explore, it could be an 80 day. It doesn't have to be a 20. It could be an 80. You could be exploring yourself with fish and vegetables, everything roasted and butter free. It could be fantastic. And Fran will be so excited she'll come to your house and jump up and down with glee. Wouldn't that be glorious? What a fantastic day that would be. She doesn't come to your house and scold you. She comes to your house and just jumps up and down. Yay. That would be fantastic. She's like, you didn't have dessert. You could have had 20 different things.
No, now we're incorporating some physical activity.
That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. What a fantastic day that is. Oh, wonderful. Fran, as always, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. This was
You're welcome, Kelly. It was a pleasure.
Great. Thank you so much. See you, everybody.
Great. Bye-bye. Have a great day.